So Apple announced the Watch Ultra at last week's Apple event alongside the iPhone 14 lineup, and I'm low-key more excited about the Watch Ultra arriving than I am about the actual iPhone. It's weird, let's ramble.
Hold up, face go wild when I pull up. They all on me like it wants.
Hey, what is up guys? It's great to see you all again, and if you're new here, I'm Patrick, and this is where I ramble about tech and other stuff. So as we all know, last week the September Apple event took place, and as I was watching it, something weird happened, and I realized that the exact same thing happened to me during last year's Apple event. You see, last year, I was watching the event for one main purpose, and that was to see the new iPhone 13 lineup. I mean, the iPhone is the flagship product at these September events, and the rest is gravy, usually. Not so last year. At least not for me, because Apple threw us a curveball when they announced the iPad mini 6, and for some inexplicable reason, I got totally obsessed with that little iPad, and I almost forgot all about the iPhone 13. And I was right, I ordered both the iPhone 13 Pro and the iPad mini, but the iPad mini 6 was far more exciting to me. I made a ton of videos about it on this channel, and I have since learned that I'm definitely not alone in my adoration of this little fella. It is by far the iPad I use the most every single day. Okay, so what does that have to do with the Watch Ultra, you might ask? Well, because pretty much the same thing happened again this year. And even though it wasn't a complete surprise, I mean, we heard rumors of a larger, more powerful Apple Watch Pro. When Apple showed us the Watch Ultra, I was blown away, and I got that same feeling I had when they first announced the iPad mini 6. I mean, don't get me wrong, the iPhone 14 looks great, especially the Pro lineup with the new dynamic island feature, and I ordered the 14 Pro as well as the Watch Ultra, but I must confess that I'm far more excited about that watch landing on my doorstep than I am about the iPhone. And I can't explain exactly why that is. I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know if it's the novelty factor. I mean, the iPhone has some nifty new features, but ultimately it's still last year's iPhone, just a little bit better. I don't feel the same way about the Watch Ultra. We have an updated Apple Watch SE and of course a new Series 8, and those to me are to last year's watches what the iPhone 14 is to last year's phones. The Watch Ultra almost feels like an entirely new device, and Apple kind of marketed the Ultra as such. Apple didn't say, hey, here's an improved Apple Watch, so you must all buy this model now. They actually presented it to us as a bit of a niche device, a bit of a specialist device, you know, an Apple Watch for the ultra active, for the outdoorsman that needs the extra oomph, as well as the extra features. They market it for extreme hikers, scuba divers, etc., and not your run-of-the-mill 3 times a week gym goer who likes to receive some notifications on their wrist, listen to a bit of music, and maybe unlock their MacBook using their Apple Watch. No, with this watch, adventure awaits. It has an indestructible titanium case and a sapphire crystal glass that can withstand insane temperatures and be submerged deeper than ever before, tracking depth and water temperature. It has a compass and dual frequency GPS that will help you backtrack when you get lost in the outback. None of these are features most of us will ever need or use. Then why am I, and with me quite a few people according to my Twitter feed, so interested in this watch? And here again, we can draw a parallel with last year's iPad mini 6, that equally was marketed as a device that would appeal mostly to specialists. You might remember the marketing videos where we saw the iPad mini strapped to a pilot's leg or sticking out of a doctor's lab coat. Still, the iPad mini turned out to be a huge hit with us, the average consumer. I predict a similar thing to happen with this Apple Watch Ultra. Now let's have a quick look at all that is new about this Apple Watch on steroids before I give you my thoughts as to why I believe this thing appeals to us so much. And I'm not going to focus on the specialist features like the dive computer, but rather some substantial improvements we can all use and enjoy. Just very quickly, if you're interested in this watch, I will of course be creating a lot of content once I get my hands on it, so do hit that subscribe button. That would be much appreciated. So the most obvious thing setting this watch apart from the regular Apple Watch models, be it the Series 8 or the SE, is of course the design. I mean, this thing is massive. It's got that big orange action button on the side and a bulky crown and a button on the other side. The titanium casing is not only bulkier, the sapphire glass screen is also a lot larger than the largest regular Apple Watch, 3mm to be exact. If you come from an Apple Watch SE like I do, the difference is even bigger. And lastly, in terms of design, the watch bands stand out way more than what we're used to. We have 3 types of bands coming in very funky colors. We have our Alpine loops, the Trill loop, and the Ocean band if you plan to use your Apple Watch underwater a lot. Personally, I quite like the rugged and loud design on this watch, so I did order it with the orange Alpine loop. Hey, what can I say? I'm Dutch and orange is kind of our thing. Anyway, it is safe to say that the Watch Ultra is a thick boy and you either love that or you hate it. But regardless of how you feel about the chunkiness of this watch, it does bring some very clear benefits. Probably the most appealing one to most of us is the fact that the larger case allows for a larger battery. The single biggest drawback of the Apple Watch for me has been the ridiculously short battery life. On days of intensive use, I sometimes struggle to even make it to the night. Speaking of night, I would love to use my watch as a sleep tracker, but since I need to charge it every single night, that really isn't an option. The Watch Ultra comes with 36 hours of battery life and up to 60 hours in the soon-to-be released low power mode. The bigger chassis also means there is now room for a second speaker, which improves the audio for voice calls, as well as a 3 microphone array, which will help reduce noise and improve clarity. And that's relevant because every Watch Ultra comes with cellular. I personally also appreciate the larger buttons and the crown, as we're now approaching colder weather again, and being able to use the Apple Watch wearing a pair of running gloves will be a very useful feature. Another feature I believe will prove to be extremely useful to a lot of us is the action button, as we will be able to customize it to do what we want, like start a particular training or set intervals. The display on the Ultra has a peak brightness of 2000 nits, which is double that of the Apple Watch Series 8 and even brighter than the iPhone 14 Pro Max. GPS performance has also been improved, which will be super useful if you live in a dense urban environment. The Ultra also comes with a siren, and while most of us probably won't find ourselves lost in the mountains, I can see this feature being useful for other things like personal safety in case of assault. Now, aside from the way it looks, the biggest gripe people seem to have with the Ultra is the price, and no doubt it's an expensive watch. But if we compare it to the Series 8 with cellular, the price difference is $300, but that is for the cheapest edition of the Series 8, meaning aluminum casing and a low-end loop. If we would compare it to a stainless steel version Series 8, the price difference becomes almost negligible. The Ultra also comes with a premium $100 watch band, better GPS, better call quality, a better and brighter display, a tougher and lighter titanium casing, a programmable action button, and double the battery life. Those features alone could justify the higher price, and that is without even mentioning any of the specialized sport features, like the compass that actually allows you to backtrack your steps, and the fact that this watch is a freaking dive computer, and most decent dive computers alone will cost more than the Watch Ultra, and you get an Apple Watch. So what Apple did here, I believe, is quite genius. They created a specialist Apple Watch, they marketed it as a specialized Apple Watch, but they also made it a better overall Apple Watch so that we, the average consumer, are also interested. But I think there's another level to all of this, a level that Apple is quite aware of and that it constantly plays at. And it knows exactly to whom this level appeals. It appeals to those users that look at their Apple products as more than just functional devices. It's those users that look at their Apple devices as part of a lifestyle. Users that feel like these devices actually enrich their lives. I'm talking about the true Apple enthusiast. Apple is extremely good at making us want what they have on offer. They're also very good at convincing us that we need the best of the best, without ever actually saying it. Case in point is the Mac Studio Ultra. When this computer came out, I remember a lot of techies lusting over this machine, myself included. I didn't need it at all. I had just invested in a spec'd out M1 Max MacBook Pro that can handle everything I need with ease. But still, there was this nagging feeling that there is a better Apple computer out there, better than the one I own. So whether it's the desire to own the best version of what Apple has to offer, or whether it's actual real-life improvements, I don't think Apple cares because it made me order the Watch Ultra. Guys, I'm genuinely dying to find out how you feel about all of this. Do you think the improvements justify the price? And are you going to order the Ultra? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, please do give it one of these. It really does make a difference. Subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.